Sunday, and now getting a real harsh welcome to this cooperative championship. Of course, travelling to Toulouse is going to be a tough prospect for the rest of these cooperative championship teams, and Toulouse on their own patch might be a tougher proposition. Well, you know all about how tough a proposition Toulouse can be, Terry.
Bill, very, very tough. Look at the way they start the game. They're so tough, physical in the middle of the park. But they've got to look up and see where the numbers are. In the first half there, Toulouse have made 127 tackles, which is 50 more than the Widnes side. And if you look at the guys that you want to lay your platform, the both prop forwards who started off for the Toulouse side made 30 tackles. Now, the Widnes front rowers, Inostic and Gannon, made 5 between them. That's why Widnes have been moving forward, they've been breaking free at will, and they've been laying the platform.
And Widnes looking to continue where they left off. Mind you, Toulouse have done pretty well with this set of 6, and Widnes inside their own 40, or inside their own 30 as Webster puts the kick in, so that's a positive start to the second half for the Toulouse side. And Constant Vilgas runs the ball back.
Wait, go.
And he'll play the ball. And off goes Sebastian Payon, the former Saint-Estève player.
But again, he's moving up. They're moving up in nobody support. Matthew Griffey looking to get his arms free, looking for the blue jerseys in support. They need to push up, they need to support the ball carrier at all times.
And the ball goes out wide. Vilgas ships it out there. And they're keeping it alive. And this is a bolder approach from Toulouse at the start of the second half. There is Mitchell. Little grubber kick through from Vilgas, and Vilgas leads the chase. Well, that's a positive start from Toulouse.
Sean, we've all been in situations like this when you're up against it, you're coming out from the second half. What do you think Giles Dumas will have said to his players at half-time?
Well, he probably won't have said you can't win the game. I think that's pretty obvious. But what he would have talked about was the improvements they can make and possibly win the second half. I think that's got to be the goal. Go out, win the second half, and just get those little improvements. Now, to do that, you're going to have to get more football, because if you get that pressure put on your defensive line all the time, again, he knows that'll just open up, because you simply can't hang on. The fatigue factor will become so bad that they'll just make poorer and poorer decisions. Widnes, on the other hand, Barry, they'll have been told to go on with this job. That's what John Stankovic will want. He'll say, go on with this job. I don't want them to score any points, but at the same time, we don't want the scoreline being 40-0 after another 40 minutes. That's a poor kick.
That's probably the poorest set of 6 that Widnes have played in this entire game. Let's go down to the sidelines and get some half-time news from Ben Pro.
It was a joint team talk in the Widnes camp, Bill. Paul Cullen obviously doesn't start his official duties till tomorrow, but John was leading, John Stankovic there on the left of your screen, he was leading the team talk with a lot of input from Paul Cullen. They're talking about laying a marker down for the rest of the cooperative championship, and ruthlessness was the key word. They want that 0 as much as they want to improve on that 40 points as well. As for Gilles Dumas, he wants to cut out the errors and get back in possession and secure possession for his side.
Well, his side are on the attack at the moment, and they've certainly started this second half in a positive frame of mind. There is Gilles Dumas, the coach. Here is Sylvain Hules for his Toulouse team. And Mitchell, sniping run from him, then changes direction, finds Nathan Wynn. Wynn onto Cousin, Tim Wynn. Widnes having really to work in defence for the first time tonight. That's the 5th tackle. Here is Tim Wynn, there is Nathan Wynn. Nathan Wynn puts the kick in, it's a wicked one. And Widnes deal with it effectively, but again, it's great endeavour from this Toulouse side, and they'll get a goal line dropout. Their second of the evening.
Outstanding defence from this Toulouse side. Coaches and players will put emphasis on the kick chase, and this is what players and coaches say is almost as good as 6 points. They carry the Widnes player over the line, forcing that goal line dropout. I think the opening 4.5 minutes have gone to Toulouse, so some positive signs for them. As I say that,
Mitchell drops the ball, and Mitchell knows what a clanger that is, because they had Widnes under pressure.
How many times do we see this? A mistake after, whether it's a try scored, whether it's a forced dropout. Martin Mitchell had a real big first half. He was strong in defence for the Toulouse side. You've got to concentrate. Just when you were attacking the Widnes' line, you were going to be back into the opposition's 30. They need to come up with simple plays and concentrate.
And that's let Widnes off the hook, really, because they were under pressure. They were camped in their own half, and now they're approaching the halfway line. And they could start to do a bit more damage. Here's Josh Sim, who's another one of these teenagers in this Widnes side, another local product. Made his debut last season, came through the academy here. Widnes up the middle. 4 tackles gone now.
4. Back to 10. On 2. Let's go.
Tony Maria making the tackle for Toulouse there, and Webster, little darting run from him. He's got support from Fletcher. He puts the kick in, and they'll get another set of 6. And Webster may be saying to Richard Fletcher, sorry, I didn't quite see you there.
And you've spotted it already, Bill. Widnes again attacking this Toulouse side up the middle of the park. This is where the gaps are going to come for the little James Webster. But good defence. Had the presence to mind, Richard Fletcher, to carry him over the line along with Scott Yates.
Let's go.
Forcing the goal line dropout.
Stay on.
But this is what's happened in the first half. The Widnes players were really attacking around the tight 3 defenders either side of the ruck. The Toulouse players were looking up, they're seeing that they had to get tighter, trying to control the ruck, and then the gaps appeared out wide.
Wait.
And just as quickly as that, the game has transformed. Toulouse really dominating the opening 5 or 6 minutes in this second half, and then now they're back in a familiar position.
It just shows you, Bill, how one mistake can cost you, and Widnes are going to score
and
here.
It's going to cost them again here, because Fletcher is going to get his second of the night. Sim the provider. And that will be a crushing blow for this Toulouse side. Started the second half so well, one mistake, and there you are, lads, back underneath your posts, and the Vikings are in again.
You've mentioned him once or twice already this half, but Josh Sim, the young front rower, hits this ball hard and strong. Here we see Fletcher, and this is what caused the dropout. He carries the player, catches him, carries him over, forces the dropout. Here's Josh Sim, bang, puts on the accelerator, a two-handed offload, gives the ball to Richard Fletcher. Just watch the angle. Through the tackle, two-handed offload, and Richard Fletcher just puts the ball down. Great support play from Widnes. Great interplay from 2 very talented forwards.
Well, yes, you've got Richard Fletcher, who's possibly at the other end of the scale in terms of experience, 28 years old now, and Josh Sim just making his way. Here's another youngster, Scott Yates. Another 2 points from the boot of Yates, and Widnes ahead by 46 points to 0 now.
Rugby league's all about unselfish plays, and Josh Sim put himself in a situation there to get that ball. He'd run on it, he hit the ball at speed. You could see the determination as he goes through the line and just made that try and laid a simple triumph for Richard Fletcher. But it's all about unselfishness in rugby league, and you've got to come out and you've got to support your teammate, which puts pressure on the defensive side.
And Terry, while we give credit to Josh Sim and Richard Fletcher for supporting, you've got to be critical of Toulouse's defence there. There was no speed off the line. They don't number up. They're not communicating the tackle. Again, that's a result of what's happening. The scoreboard is actually telling you the story as to how they're trying to defend. Now, they're pretty good down this end of the field. They come off the line, they're nice and tight, they try to get numbers in. But when they get a little further, when they get close to their try line, they spread too much. People don't communicate. Some slide, some come up and in, and they've obviously got to work very hard on that.
That's a mindset, that, Sean, about when you're defending in the opposition's 20. You're okay, you're tight defenders, you come up with the big shots, but you've got to really concentrate when you're defending your own line.
It's all about that continuity as well. You see Toulouse, they're giving away the penalty, and what they are is unfamiliar with what's happening with each other. They don't know each other's little sort of characteristics. And it's difficult for them. They're coming across the water for the first time. They're stopping in a hotel in Manchester. A couple of them for the first time. Some of them are part-time, some of them are full-time. They need to get to know each other a little bit.
Well, there's going to be no fairy tale start to this competition for Toulouse, and not in the way that PSG and Catalan Dragons started their lives. PSG beating Sheffield in their first game in 1996, Catalan beating Wigan 38-30 in their first game, but those were both at home, and both those sides lost their first away games in their competition. So Toulouse experiencing what those two sides experienced as well, and painfully as well. And here come Widnes again. Duffy evades one. He's looking for another try to add to his first half opener. That's the fifth tackle.
Wait. Good.
Duffy gets slowly to his feet, kick stabbed in is too strong.
It's too strong, that kick. We saw Duffy take the tackle. We saw Webster pass the ball. And give it to Thacker, who's normally a good kicker and just too strong on that occasion. Third choice kicker, just not up to the mark.
Joris Canton thought about offloading that ball as he came under pressure there, kept a hold of it, but offside against Widnes. And a relieving penalty for Toulouse.
That's just the eagerness, trying to get off the line and trying to put this Toulouse team under pressure. There was about 4 or 5 of them offline, stood in front of the referee, Gareth Hewer.
Just make sure you're
Dean Tolkowi-Love was the one who gave the penalty away.
It's gone too early. First.
So Toulouse,
Come on, let's hold.
can they create something? Can they at least get on the scoreboard here? Widnes, as we heard from Ben down on the sidelines, determined to keep this nil. What a way to start the season that would be, with a big nilling. But here come Toulouse. Mitchell having a go himself and still going, and Tolkowi-Love has stolen that ball right under the nose of referee Gareth Hewer.
I don't think he went to steal the ball. He actually tried to twist the player, put him on the back and get him to ground, and in doing so, just watch here now.
Where do you get onside? That's it, let's go.
Well, he might have hold of the ball, actually. I'll tell you what.
I don't think I'll be calling on your services.
Actually,
I'd like you to defend me, you know.
I'll go and get my coach, shall I?
Toulouse on the attack now. Win. And here's Eric Anselm, and Anselm was almost through.
Hold.
Slow to get to his feet. Mitchell now. Nathan Wynn brings it back across the field, and then Delgal takes the tackle.
Go.
There's Wynn once more.
Good line speed from Thackeray there.
Thackeray came shooting off the line there to get the ball, and he did in the end.
Superb line speed from Thackeray. Get a good reward. He gets up and gets the ball back for his side. Urgency in defence. Even when they're defending, they're on the attack, this Widnes side.
Here's Shane Grady. Grady's had a quiet... Oh, from Worth, put the shoulder in there. And Grady gets to his feet a little bit groggily. Here goes Dean Gaskell.
Third. 16 here.
Great hurrying. Great nuisance value from Thackeray. He's come on quite late in the piece, and that's his job, to just lift it up another notch. But I've been impressed with Brendan Worth, the Australian front row forward. He's ran the ball strong, he's hit hard in defence, and you just feel with a little bit more cohesion in this side, you know, they can pose a real threat to some of the sides in the championship.
Bruno Ormeno it was bringing that ball out, operating at full back now. Ormeno with Vilgas moving into the stand-off position for Gilles Dumas in this second half.
Tackle 3, move! Yeah, let's go.
Payan plays the ball. Here is Brendan Worth up towards the halfway line for this Toulouse team.
Hold, go.
Mitchell now. Mitchell, little step, takes him away from Jim Gannon's challenge, and good offload finds Brendan Worth.
Tackle 5!
That's the 5th tackle. What a bit of enterprise now from Toulouse, maybe. Well, there's nothing to lose. They might as well throw caution to the wind. And that kick sails out of play.
That's a shame. That excellent interplay between the hooker and his prop forward, and a hurried kick. Again, you can put that down to kick pressure from this Widnes side. Mark Smith getting ready to come back on now.
What was the option there for the Toulouse sides? Just to stick it behind the Widnes' winger in Dean Gaskell and Paddy Flynn. Challenge him to bring the ball out. Instead of putting a high ball up, the Toulouse players were nowhere near them then.
John Duffy getting a rousing round of applause as he leaves the field. The play continuing meanwhile, and Toulouse again just looking a little bit disorganised in midfield there. Is John Duffy a satisfactory evening's work for him so far? Here goes Webster. Webster up the middle. Webster trying to beat them all to the line. He'll get there, he'll slide over, but has he got the ball down? Gareth Hewer was well positioned, and Webster gets the try. He just managed to outpace Bruno Ormeno. He backed his judgment there, and he got there.
A bit of individual brilliance by James Webster. It was the guys that was outside who were coming up with them, as I said before, unselfish plays, pushing up into the next hole. You watch him, he gets the ball, he looks up, sees him slow on the inside, he takes it, he thinks that he has the speed to go all the way. Nearly gets caught. At one point, James Webster looked like he was pulling a fridge, but He seemed to pin his ears back. He's gone through, he had the confidence in his own speed. He was going to get to the try line. And just his weight took him over for that score. But it's the amount of numbers of players that are pushing up, supporting the ball carrier, who's doing really well and working well for this Widnes side.
Yates with a conversion attempt that's just about in front of the posts, and this is the best kick he's had all evening. He's landed a whole host of them from way out wide. He's landed that one as well. And Widnes, the half-century up, 52-0 they lead. Their line threatened a while ago, but Webster taking them up the other end of the field to get his first try in Widnes colours.
Rugby league's very cruel. It's number 3, Planas, just at the bottom of your screen then. He actually moves off Webster onto the player outside, leaving the Toulouse defender one-on-one with Webster. He's already reaching on the outside, and unfortunately for Toulouse, he has too much agility and gets the try.
Ooh, the spray flew there as the two teams went hurling into each other. Ostick and Anthony Maria, I think it was, going head to head there.
It's that man Brendan Worth. Just watch this.
Get to your feet.
That's what I'm talking about.
Third. On the line, 2 feet, 10.
There is Brendan Worth. He's a big unit and doesn't hold back.
Fourth.
He takes no prisoners. Rugby players take results like this very personally.
Well, they've got a chance to get revenge on Sheffield and make up for that Challenge Cup defeat when they meet the Eagles in Toulouse on March the 21st. But this is going to take some getting over, and there could be more points. There are more points for the Widnes Vikings here, and young Shane Grady, the 19-year-old, has got on the score sheet as well. He must have felt he was going to miss out tonight. All the action was happening on the other wing for Paddy Flynn. But Shane Grady in the centres gets his first try of the season.
It's the short side little players that are really worrying this Toulouse side. Richard Varcoulis, the unmarked Dean Gaskell on the wing. Shane Grady backing up just in the middle of the park. And again, Toulouse really struggling on the short side. The winger had no idea where Dean Gaskell was. He snuck up on the outside. And it was just a simple walking try for Shane Grady. But it's a really dangerous time for this Toulouse side now.
Eric Anselm. But what can you say when you're on the end of a scoreline like this? There's pride to play for. And back home in Toulouse, they were hoping so much for a good start to the season. There's 2 more points from the boots of Yates. Takes the scoreline to 58-0 in favour of the Widnes Vikings.
It really is worrying if you're a Toulouse fan, a Toulouse player. Some wrong options, some tired bodies and some tired options being taken. Dumas, the coach, he's got that pencil, he's writing notes, frantically writing down what he needs to work on in the week. I think he's gone through about 5 or 6 sheets of paper, 3 pencils, 2 rubbers.
Well, he's been in the game a long while. He's played 25 times for France, a legendary player in the French side. Was in the last team to beat Great Britain, in fact, at Leeds in 1990. And he coached the national side, so he knows what the game's all about. And France have been on the receiving end a fair few times as well.
Look, Bill, he knows that this team will get a lot better. He's come up tonight against a very, very impressive Widnes outfit, a side that's almost been peaking for this type of performance. Had a couple of pre-season matches, played some other matches and another competition, and you could just see they were ready to come out and play tonight against a side that, let's be fair, haven't really had a terrific preparation. And that's shown up tonight in everything they've done. If I was on a Widnes coaching staff now, I'd actually want Toulouse to have a fair bit of ball in this last 20 minutes, because I think we need a bit of a workout defensively. We've got the points on the board, and it's been terrific and tremendous, and it'd be nice to score a few more, but I really want to defend now for this last 20 minutes, because I think we need that for a workout for next week against Halifax. That's what I'd be thinking.
Okay.
Well, they've almost let Widnes in again, yeah. This really does build up well towards next Thursday's game on Sky Sports, when Widnes travel to Halifax, or Dear me, and it's good job Eric Anselm was alert to the situation there, because that could have been embarrassing. Yep, Halifax against Widnes is on Sky Sports 3 next Thursday at 7:30. That should be some game, because Halifax will want to bring Widnes down a peg or two. They fancy their chances in this competition as well, do Fax. Here is Dean Gaskell coolly taking that ball, the Irish international.
And this is the part of the pitch where they've been really strong, but it's the third and fourth play that's really letting them down. The forwards are dominating. They're coming up with big shots on the Widnes forwards, but again, Shane Grady landing on his front. A couple of players still not get back into the Toulouse side, and again, it's all about speed. It's the quick lads that are getting in, landing on the front and getting them quick play the balls.
What's the 10? Damien, come on, we've got a big effort on the 10 metres.
Here are Widnes then on the halfway line, and Thackeray looking to make an impact. He's had to sit on the sidelines for a while.
Go.
Duran, Webster, a booming pass out wide to Grady, and Grady finds Gaskell, and that was forward, says the touch judge, and referee again in harmony.
A long ball here from Webster, he's famed for that, and just spots the overlap on the outside, and it's this next pass. That's the forward one.
Well, you've actually got to give a bit of credit to the winger there for Toulouse, who went and put pressure on Shane Grady. You know, he put a lot of pressure on him. He made him play the play. He had to throw it forward, or in fact, he didn't have to throw the ball at all, but it forced him to throw the ball forward because Dean Gaskell was in an unmarked position.
Go.
Well, here go Toulouse now. Brendan
yards.
Worth working hard.
Good yards and a good hit up from Worth. Again, he's worked really hard. Whenever he's been out there, he's been a competitor, and I don't think any of these French guys have given up by any way, shape or form, but a lot to work on for Dumas. There's some character in this side. Eric Anselm, a guy I know from Leeds, has only been training since a 3-month layoff for the last 2 weeks, so they're going to get better.
Smith had a hand in there. Play on, says the referee. Is it back to 6?
Tackle 4.
No. Referee keeps the tackle count going. 4 tackles gone, 5 tackles gone now.
Come on, 10 metres. Let's go.
So Wynn puts the kick in, into the corner. That's going to be too strong. Let's get some injury news from the Widnes camp with Ben.
Injury precaution really, Bill, for Widnes, because Los Wildboar has been withdrawn, extremely frustrated to leave the field. He wanted to stake his claim to a first team place, only on the bench tonight, but with this sort of scoreline, the management feel there's no point taking a risk.
Second move.
Into the last quarter, and Widnes ahead by 58 points to 0. And Toulouse scrambling to defend there. Off goes Gaskell. Typical darting run from him. Anthony Thackeray now, keeping the ball alive with Fletcher.
Tackle 4.
4 tackles gone.
Wait, go.
Jarvis Canton makes the tackle. Webster. That's the 5th tackle, and they're on that Toulouse 20-metre line.
Another short side play from Widnes,
and frustration that time.
And you can allow Widnes to play a little bit. They choose to go on the short side. Dean Gaskell needs to stay on the island. He can't do. Again, let's credit the Toulouse defence. They've not given up. In situations like this, you need to ignore the scoreboard. It's 58-0, but just play it as it's 0-0. Widnes putting a shove on at the scrum.
Widnes, don't push the balls in. Get it in. Out.
So Toulouse with work to do here to get away from their own posts. Planas plays the ball. Here's Eric Anselm, the captain, leading from the front. Really proud to be involved with his hometown team in this competition. It means an awful lot to Toulouse to be involved in the championship, because rugby union has dominated in France's 4th biggest city for so long, but it does have a rugby league history, and Eric was saying on Sky Sports earlier on this evening that people are coming back to the game in Toulouse because of the presence of Toulouse Olympique in this competition, and that can only be good for the game.
And they'll go back to Toulouse and they'll be really hurting. They'll be embarrassed about this defeat. But in a couple more weeks, when they've got up to speed and they've got up to the strength of this game and got used to it, because a lot of these guys have not played to a high intensity like this. I know they've got 7 lads who've played international rugby league, but getting used to the speed of the game and players that are playing the likes of Mark Smith, the likes of James Webster, and it's just all about intensity. And it takes teams, whether you're playing Super League, in this championship, you've got to get used to the speed.
Yeah, they'll be a little bit tougher, a little bit more battle-hardened by the time they meet the Sheffield Eagles on the 21st. And they were running the Eagles close early on until Mitchell got himself sent off in that game. They were giving a good account of themselves, but they're in trouble again here.
Just trying a little bit too hard, Eric Anselm here. Stays on the Widnes play a little bit too long. Just watch, he's the last man in. Perhaps getting him for a hand around the neck. But players like Dean Gaskell, with the strength and agility that they've got, they've forced defenders into those crazy decisions.
Ostick is tackled about 20 metres out, just about head on to the posts as well. Smith, Gannon was the dummy runner. Here's Duran, that's more good defence from Toulouse.
With me?
And again, Brendan Worth is involved. Smith, Gannon, the ball out wide to Thackeray. Thackeray shows it to Toa Koe-Love, takes it himself and takes the tackle as well from Damien Couturier, the former Lee and Hull Kingston Rovers man, in with a tackle there. And here goes another former Lee man, Toa Koe-Love.
2 feet.
And then again, Couturier with the tackle. Mark Smith. Thackeray. Wild pass from Thackeray, and it's been picked up by Wynne.
Poor pass that from Thackeray. He's trying to find that short attacking option. And either the player catching the ball wasn't expecting it, or it was behind.
That's
Toulouse
a good
on
run
the break.
from Sebastian Payan. A great run from Payan. Can they do something with this? They're not tackled. Play on, says the referee. A little skibbity skip. And it takes them up to the 40-metre line. Eric Anselm, and Anselm round the corner. Brendan Worth not able to get a hold of that one, but pounces on the ball just to keep a hold of it. Nathan Wynne. Four tackles gone as Timothy Wynne gets to his feet to play the ball. Here's Nathan Wynne now. Goes on his own. Well tackled. Gannon and Thackeray in there. Mitchell stabs the kick in. Sebastian Payan will chase it, and they'll pin Dean Gaskell down. And that's another goal line dropout. And to be fair, they've forced 3 goal line dropouts tonight of Toulouse.
And that's an impressive set of 6. They've come 100 metres. They've forced Dean Gaskell behind the line. I think this is what they've got to build some pressure.
What about this for a run, though? They just keep going. It's Payan on the break. A little change of mind. Not tackled. Rinky-dinky-doo. Here we go. Great work from Toulouse.
Back there.
As I said before, this won't affect Widnes too badly at all. I think their coaching staff would be delighted. They've got to do a few sets defensively because.
Well, something has happened in back play. Sorry, Sean, but something has happened in back play, and Mark Smith and Loz Wildboard drawing attention to that. Not exactly sure what they're alluding to there. But Gareth Hewer took heed and has put something on report. Exactly what he's on report, we're not certain. Timothy Wynne is tackled about 15 metres out. Mitchell, Nathan Wynne, Brendan Worth, and that's a penalty bang in front of the posts for offside against the Widnes Vikings. And Mitchell, hold on, says Gareth Hewer. Mitchell keen to take it, and Mitchell keen to go on his own. And they're offside again. They weren't on the line.
Possible sin bidding there for, I think it might have been Lee Duran.
2 feet.
You'd argue that was a try-scoring situation and he was in the way. That's a possible
Brendan
sin.
Worth trying to use his strength to get over the try line. Toulouse desperate at least to get points on the board. And then the pass goes nowhere except into the hands of James Webster eventually. And then to Shane Grady. Well, that's a shame for Toulouse. Well, it's not a shame because if you get back-to-back penalties and you come up with an error like that.
Yeah, that was just the wrong option. There's no pressure being built there. Both of the guys who run for the ball, put their arms down. They didn't want the ball. They didn't look like they wanted to come into the collision for them Widnes players. But every time they get down it, they come up with some silly mistakes. And again, it's the speed that seems to be getting them, and it's the big guys who are working really hard for Toulouse in the middle of the park that have been targeted.
Good ball.
Smith pops a pass up to Lee Duran, and Duran
That's 5.
invites the chasing Shane Brady, I think it was. No, it wasn't, I beg your pardon. Here is Thackeray. Webster now. Lost Wildboar steps back inside. He got men outside him who were screaming for the pass.
Hand
And
over.
that'll be the turnover.
Hand the ball over, Loz.
Well, we're just going back to this incident that's on report, and you can see in back play a little bit of push and shove involving Jim Gannon. Well, if that's all it was,
There's nothing gone on there.
it's not really going to trouble the judiciary, is it?
I think someone robbed somebody's handbag there.
Let's go.
Just a touch-up of lip gloss from 2 players there, one putting and correcting the lip gloss on another, but a poor option
Lee,
from
come on,
Los
take it out.
Wildboar on the
Wait for
last
it,
tackle.
wait.
He had
Go.
men over, chose not to use them.
Sylvain Hules gets the pass away.
Move. Let's go.
Win now. And again, Vilgas gets it out to Couturier. Couturier gets away from the first challenge of
Tackle 4.
Paddy Flynn.
Lee, come on,
4
walk this
tackles
10
gone.
meters, Come on. Good have a big effort.
Oh, that looked high. Well, it was high. It also looked forward, and Eric
Jim.
Anselm had to reach
Wait.
for that.
What?
Good
Go.
hands to catch it though.
On the
In
last
front now,
tackle and
in
the
front.
long kick downfield
Well.
into the arms, the safe arms of Dean Gaskell. It's a good chase from Toulouse, but Gaskell, he's like a pinball. He's got away from a couple of them, and then a high shot
Didn't
claims
get
the
away
crowd.
from that,
Yeah,
though.
that player.
He's a tough cookie, Dean Gaskell, isn't he?
Second. Move. Hold.
He reminds
Go.
me of when he plays, and I know they're both playing at the same period of time, but
Tackle
Gareth
3.
Rayner, he's a threat, he's got good
Wait.
footwork, he's got an
Go.
offload, and you need to be committed whenever you tackle Dean Gaskell.
Here's Thackeray. Thackeray has support from Duran, and Lee Duran will get another try for the Widnes Vikings up the middle of the field. Meanwhile, in back play, Dean Gaskell is having a bit of treatment, but it's the try scorer Lee Duran who is celebrating. Came to the club from Lee Centurions in the close season, or returned to the club, I should say, from Lee Centurions.
Good individual play by Anthony Thackeray. He shows it outside, he shows it inside. Lee Duran following him up, just getting the try, but you've got to put it down to Anthony Thackeray. It looks out, it looks in. The Toulouse players can't get anywhere near him, and it's also about support in this game. You've got to support the ball carrier, and the person who's carrying the ball is the biggest threat on the park.
So Yates, success here would give him 10 in the game. 9 from 10 so far. And Yates thumps that one between the uprights. Tim Hartley got 14 last week from 14. Yates has got 10 from 11. Well, they're not short of goal kickers. They're not short of goal kickers. So Toulouse, well, if they were hoping to staunch the flow in this second half, then that has been dispelled by this Widnes side continuing the onslaught with Lee Duran getting the latest try.
You know, I actually think they've probably been a bit better this second half. I think we've got to give them a little bit of credit. Maybe Widnes have taken the foot off just on the odd occasion. But I think that Toulouse have shown enough in this second half of certainly 33 minutes to suggest that they can be a threat when they get a little bit of match fitness and get their cohesion together. Don't you think, Terry?
Toulouse have definitely been better this second half. Paddy Flynn loses the ball there in a collision, and this is where they've been strong in this half. They've come up, they're trying to dominate in the opposition. It was 26 minutes before they got into Widnes' half in the first half, and a lot of the part of this second half has been played down in Widnes' 30.
Well, that's right. That's one of the things we look at, don't we, as coaches and players. We talk about how many good ball sets you get. Now, these are going to be thrown... Well, they've done well. They've managed to keep the ball in play here. They might have learned a little bit from what happened in the first half. But they've certainly had more good ball sets this half. That's been the key, I think, to to Toulouse being a little more confident with what they've done. They've shown a little bit more finesse. Certainly they're fatigued, but they've been prepared to come at the line like that. We've just seen tip the ball on, but they've not been able to get too many quick play the balls, and Widnes have been able to defend most things that they've thrown at them fairly comfortably.
Mitchell, he's worked hard in the second half as the hooker, Martin Mitchell. But of course, he has a date with the disciplinary next week after that sending off at Sheffield. Can they break their duck here tonight? The pass has reached Constant Vilgas, and has Vilgas got that down? Oh, he's held up. Sacre bleu.
He was very unlucky there.
You've got to make sure you stay on the line. Right?
Tried everything to get over, trying to ground the ball. Anthony Thackeray done a very good job. He's seen Scott Yates' hand in there, but Widnes have given a penalty away for being offside as well. But the width for the pass from dummy half, getting out to try and play on Widnes' edge, was a big play.
Oh, and then they make a complete hash of it. Well, almost did, because Mitchell just threw that pass to nobody, and fortunately for them, it was Joris Canton who reacted to gather the loose pass, but they've lost ground, they've lost momentum. And Brendan Worth, on one leg, well, eventually gets to his feet to play the ball. Sylvain Houlez, and just a little show from Houlez, almost opened the door for him. The Widnes supporters urging their side to keep their line safe. Timothy Wynn, 3 tackles gone. Widnes desperately defending. You'd think there was just a try and a goal in this game, and not 64 points. Toulouse keeping it alive. Nathan Wynn. This ball is still alive. They've got it out wide to Vilgas. Vilgas back on the inside. Oh, great hands. Wynn, can he get over? He's lost the ball. It's gone forward. And Nathan Wynn so close there to the first try in the championship for this Toulouse side.
Playing with real flair, trying to offload the ball, trying to put the teammates into for that try. Eric Constant coming up with a bit of brilliance. Nathan Wynn again, but Eric wasn't expecting it. Well, that shows a real grit and determination. You don't want, when you've got 4 minutes to go, you don't want the opposition. When it's nil, you do not want the opposition to score. And I'm sure John Stankovic and Paul Cullen will be sending out that message.
So Widnes looks as though they're going to start this cooperative championship season with an emphatic win to 0, which is a great marker to put down at the start of any competition. Although they haven't been quite so dominant in this second half. 40-0 it was at half-time. Just the 24 points added in the second half.
First! Well, that's worth the foot. Wait, go.
Bruno Ormeño plays the ball. Ormeño, just the one change from the side that played against Sheffield, and he's shown up well since coming off the bench as Ormeño. And still trying that look forward, and it's gone forward in the end.
Brendan Worth deserves some credit, you know. He has run his blood to water. He's backing up, he's busting tackles. On a different day, he pushes through a little bit stronger, catches that ball. There's been some outstanding performances for the Widnes side tonight. James Webster, he's been very strong, very clever, spotted the opportunities. Paddy Flynn's got a hat-trick. Scott Yates been nice and strong at the back, and I think Josh Sim when he came back. But for me, John Duffy, absolutely sweet as a nut with everything he did.
It's Duffy's kick, which was a teaser for Dean Gaskell, and Duffy is so angry with himself. Just a couple of minutes to go, and he's still frustrated.
They've set that up from the scrum. He's told Dean Gaskell he's going to do that. Dean Gaskell, another strong performer, just not quite quick enough. He knows just a little bit more of a kink to the right, and John Duffy can put a near-on perfect kick.
Well, they'll all be desperate to impress the new coach, won't they? They know that Paul Cullen is up here. He's just along from us, in actual fact, watching and seeing his new charges in action. And they'll all be desperate to make an impression on him, and one or two have done that.
They definitely will, Bill. And you look at the team, they've been beat. They got beaten by Oldham early on in the Northern Rail games, and they didn't look very enthusiastic in those games. They've had a couple of defeats, but tonight it's all about an 80-minute performance. And to nil any side, no matter how they've played or getting up to the speed of the game, it's a good performance.
And Widnes still with time.
Have to have one join the scrum.
Widnes still want to get some points, Bill.
They do, they still want to get some more
ruthless
points,
streak.
and I was just going to say that, and they'll get an opportunity here from this scrum, head and feed for the Vikings.
You've mentioned it, the new coach is watching. They'll all want to put a case forward. Using the referee as a foil there.
Gareth, you were desperately trying to reverse out of the way there, couldn't do so. Thackeray plays the ball.
Second, move. Hold.
Brendan Worth muscling up even at this late stage. Commitment, there's no shortage of commitment from this Toulouse side, but they haven't been able to cope with this Widnes Vikings firepower. Shane Grady plays the ball into the last minutes.
Let's go.
Mark Smith fires the pass in for, is it Fletcher?
I think it's Josh Sim.
It's Josh Sim, I beg his pardon. Sim plays the ball on the last tackle. Short pass, look forward, no mind, it's a second try for Los Wildboar. And Wildboar, who'd gone back to the bench with a bit of a knock, back on the field, gets try number 4 for the season, his second of the night, to round off this Widnes Vikings win.
It's a superb play at the post from Mark Smith, who turns his back to the play, and Los Wildboar runs hard and strong, a really acute angle. There's the pass from Mark Smith. The Toulouse player will feel that the ball is going to the left side. He twists his back, gives it back to his right, shows it inside, and Thackeray just feeds a nice short pass to Wildboar. Bangs that ball down. Good night's work for the Widnes players. Plenty to work on for the Toulouse side.
Bit of a Hull connection there, Thackeray and Wildboar, both ex-Hull, and Paul Cullen, well, tomorrow he officially takes over, gets his feet under the table, and he'll do so on the back of a thumping win with 2 more points from the boots of Scott Yates to round off this victory. 70 points to 0. What a way to start a new season for this Widnes Viking side, and what a way to sign off for John Stankovic, caretaker coach tonight. If you're going to go out, you go out with a bang, and that's a pretty big bang, isn't it?
I think John Stankovic would be forgiven for retiring tonight as a coach. He can turn around and say, 70-0 lads, look at that. But Paul Cullen, when he was made the Widnes coach, people questioned whether his loyalty, because of his Warrington connections, would hold him back. Now Paul Cullen is only going to add to the strength, the knowledge, the experience and the ambition of this side. These Widnes players really have cemented their intentions here tonight. John Duffy, I mentioned him in commentary, he's been outstanding tonight, backed up by some strong performances in the middle. Danny Mills just at the top of your picture, he's not in the side tonight. There's some quality on the sidelines to come back. Great signs if you're a Widnes fan.
And a great night.